Well, this is game 2 in their set. New higher order to game 1. It was a pretty close game, but it was just a missed item, and here we go.
Yeah, so we are seeing, of course, on New Hyrule Order's side, the classic divergence. One player goes to the Uncle, the other starts in Sanctuary.
I'm more interested in the double left split. I'm guessing one's going to go Houlihan into Link's house. And that's exactly what Ben's about to do.
Yeah, it's a nice way to get some early money. In case, one player has the opportunity to check King Zora later on. For those unfamiliar, this is a co-op all dungeons race. So both sets of players, vertically oriented, as indicated by the colors of the borders of their gameplay screens, will be playing on a team, and they're exchanging information with one another, to try to make each other's routing a little bit more efficient.
Now, both Hookshot and Mushroom are an Uncle, so that's 2 good pickups already. We know what Mushroom may or may not be. Now, we do have a lot of small magic early, too. Both the Tier 1 drop and the Crab are both small magic.
Yeah, and for anyone who missed it, McMonkey just checked Lumberjack, revealing, I believe it was a piece of heart. So that won't be forcing us to do Aghanim early, though we will have to do it eventually since it is considered a dungeon.
Yeah, so he's considered a dungeon. They won't need to do him early unless it's Dark World access at this point, which they're going to hope not. I don't know if we've seen one on stream yet. We do have a bottle in Lost with Bandit, which is going to let us do Sick Kid on first trip.
Yeah, that's always nice to see. You almost start to expect it a little bit until, the one time that you end up going through CAC without a bottle, and then you're like, oh, I have to remember to come back for that later.
That's been a lot of my season experience lately. I mean, you want the bottle and you want the flute just in case so you can clear it up in one go, but that doesn't always happen every seed.
Yeah, bottle, since there are 4 of them, is generally more likely than flute, but...
It looks like McMonkey got hit because he's missing half a heart, so that was the Tier 2 tree pull, and it was just green rupees. So they're not going to be pulling that one too much. So I think the only thing they got to clean up is the Tier 3 tree pull if they get a chance.
Yeah, the tree pulls can be nice, especially if it's grants some early bombs. As you see, McMonkey going down to Blind's hideout only has a single bomb to his name.
Well, there's not too much in Blind's hut. We just saw Worldwide Wimpy open a bunch of stuff, but none of it's progression. A lot of hearts, a lot of bombs, and rupees. It's about all he's found so far.
Yeah, finding 3 bombs, though, trading 1 for 3 is it's a nice trade.
Oh yeah, you're not going to complain about it. It's just we haven't found any big ticket items yet. I just missed what was on race game. Did you catch that one?
Oh, I did not. Doesn't look like we're going back for it, though.
On library is just a single heart. We have a single arrow and Blindswell first chest.
Yeah, it was a piece of heart on race game. SEJay just checked it. But yeah, this is the part of the game where you generally it's the only part of the game where you're generally short on bombs, so it's kind of the only time that you really like to see them show up.
Well, there was the first really good item inside CAC, and that was the gloves inside a well.
Yeah, I wonder with that glove showing up, since we have seen the hook shot on New Hyrule Order's side, as well as I guess Ben picked up the hook shot in Mushroom as well. If we'll see an early mountain play.
Quite possibly. I mean, it is a logic break at this point without the lamp, unless they happen to find it, but it looks like we've cleared all of CAC and still haven't seen it.
Yeah, glove plus hook shot is probably the juiciest logic break you can really get in this game. The other being sort of a lot of rupees plus Moon Pearl for a fake flipper to Waterfall Fairy and Zora. You get all of that knocked out early. That can be kind of nice, but it's really hard to argue with Paradox Cave.
Oh yeah, can't agree with you more there. But they still do have South Shore. Nobody's went South Shore yet. We've still got Dam. We got a lot of checks that are still within logic. So I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see Saha and maybe South Shore first.
Yeah, given that it's co-op, that's one of the things that opens up is you can send one person up the mountain just to check, hey, maybe we get something off of this logic break while, you know, the other person could go do South Shore into either fake flippers or Saha Eastern, depending on the items they find.
And you may be right, because SEJay may be going straight there. No, he's checking something in the woods. What did we have in the woods that he's not got?
That was where our first bottle was.
Yeah, because there was another one inside a chicken hut that had a fairy in it. Oh yeah, he's going for the bottle.
Oh yeah, he's picking up the bottle.
It is a bottle of blue.
Yeah, probably the better option. If you're gonna skip one of them, that's the one you'd rather pick up.
We do have Back of Escape. It's got Smokey the flute.
The flute, nice, and the powder, nice to have in your pocket. But the flute's what we're really after. So that puts Mountain in logic. Yeah,
now Mountain's super juicy. So I expect him to either flute straight to the mountain, or with SEJay going this way, maybe he might go South Shore.
Yeah, it looks like he's picking up bombs here.
So I do like our odd collection of sprites here. We do have a Pikachu. We have Deadpool.
Oh,
we
it
have.
also looks like Ben picked up the flippers in the dam, so that's pretty big. And the bow, that's a nice dam.
Oh yeah. So now he's going. Oh, he's going to do Agana early. I almost would have went straight right because Mini Moldorm into water checks with the flippers.
Yeah, honestly, this isn't. It might sort of depend on what Wimpy's doing right now, giving him time to maybe look a little deeper into the front of escape here. Sort of, it's kind of nice to do some maybe longer checks while your partner is clearing something up and getting more information, because they have enough items now between the two of them that they might want to decide how they want to split things up. Rather than just being forced. Yeah, rather than just being forced to sort of do things based on who picked up what. It can pay off to be a little flexible.
So we have Lamp in the back of Saul's closet. I saw Hera was a 5/6. I didn't catch the other two. That map check was super quick on McMonkey.
Hey, interesting, Ben not saving and quitting out of Agina's cave, maybe deciding it's quicker to walk back over.
With the screen transitions, I would expect, especially with the save and quit no longer taking extra time, the save and quit should be faster from there.
Yeah, you usually don't see anybody not save and quit out of Agina's cave.
Well, we are going to get our first check of Mini Moldorm. The only big thing I've seen found since that was the lamp in the right side of Saha's closet.
Yeah, the thing we're still sort of looking for, really two game-changing items here to find are the hammer and the moon pearl, because with that, then we have Dark World access, which is basically the other half of the game.
Any swingy weapon at this point would be very nice.
And there's the moon pearl in Dark Cross in the Dark Escape section.
So Dark World access, we're missing either a second glove upgrade. So the mountain's pretty juicy. It's a lot of items. Still got mini mold arm.
Mini mold arm was pretty juicy as well. We got the fire rod and a sword.
This is a lot of early progression. This is going to lead to a lot of options when we hit Dark World.
Yeah, notably though, we haven't seen the mitts yet, and if there's one item that can really crack open a whole bunch of checks, it's the mitts. Getting mitts early sort of does more for your options than any other item, in my experience.
Yeah, I mean, mitts or hammer, any of those entrances into the Dark World, and they're going to have so many options that it's going to be interesting to see which route they take. Because, I mean, even right now, you've got bow being found, so Eastern's full completable. They know where lamp's at, so, I mean, it's fully in logic. I don't know if they're going to wait to do it, but it looks like McMonkey's going straight there.
Yeah, it is interesting to note that without the hammer, that is sort of... Aghanim is still on the table, even if we do find the mitts. Because hammer completely... Well, I guess with the gloves and the flippers, yeah. But that's one thing to be aware of is when the hammer is actually locking you out of the Palace of Darkness area, because that's a hefty number of checks.
Yeah, it won't be for this seed. For this seed, because they found the flipper so early, that gives them north side crossing up by Catfish, and they have a glove, so they can lift the rock. But, I mean, Aghanim still is a possibility. We do have Lamp, we do have a sword, and we have those known. If we find either another sword or the cape before we find another form of Dark World access, it could still be in logic that we do Aghanim one early.
Yeah,
I mean,
and with the hook shot, with the hook shot and a glove, that allows you to get over to Village of Outcasts. My mind blanked there for a sec.
Yeah, so as soon as they hit Dark World, regardless of how they access it, it's going to be pretty open. And that's kind of what is exciting me about this seed so far. I mean, we're 10 minutes in, and we've already got a swath of items that just completely open up a ton of dungeons and checks.
Yeah, McMonkey is the first to dip into a dungeon here. This is sort of the part... We haven't seen anybody go up the mountain yet, but other than the mountain, the checks that aren't on the mountain are kind of starting to run dry for both of these teams.
Yeah, we are seeing water checks. I didn't quite catch what was on Hobo, but we are going north to Waterfall Ferry and to Zora. And he's barely short on money. He might want to see if there's nothing in here. He may have to farm him a couple rupees. And the 20 bailed him out.
The Wimpy activating the flute. We'll see if he goes up the mountain with that.
Yeah, I haven't seen much productive come out of Eastern yet, so it might just be a dungeon that SEJay gets to go to later and just full clear.
Chat's telling us that mitts were on Hobo, so that's a pretty big check.
Oh, okay, we just missed mitts. So he has Dark World access. He hasn't found Moon Pearl yet.
Yeah, well, either way, that's great for them because Hobo is a not uncommon check to bank on skipping. It's a little bit of a time investment, so sometimes you can choose to play a little dangerous and skip it. I don't know that we're going to see that from New Hyrule Order, but time will tell.
Alright, Mushroom has nothing. Agina's Cave has nothing. Which we kind of expect at this point. I actually like that they have mitts, though, because everybody putting off the mountain so long, that actually is a big advantage to Land of the Blind. Oh, and we got Kane on Zorledge.
Yeah, if Ben's not careful, he might have to go into Turtle Rock, depending on what he finds on the mountain.
Well, as soon as he finds Moon Pearl, as soon as I'm afraid they might go up the mountain right now. But if they can hit Dark Cross before he goes up the mountain, he'll be able to full clear the mountain on first access other than dungeons.
Yeah, Land of the Blind has the mitts, but New Hyrule Order has the Moon Pearl, so that's And we see SEJay going up there, currently the only player with the Moon Pearl. Ben looks like he's probably going to pick it up. I believe the key was back here.
It is. It is. It's 100% back here. And with the flute, though, he may just... Nope, he's going to go get Dark Cross. And he's going to be very happy with it.
Oh, and Land of the Blind, importantly, does not have the lamp yet.
Yeah, neither one of them's been to Eastern area, even with the early bow. But they are still finding all the other items that are scattered across this early light world. This seed is giving us a lot up front, though.
Yeah. I always wince a little when I see that, just because it seems like such a blessing, but it's really a curse in disguise because it gives you so many opportunities to route poorly.
Yeah, because the only thing at this point that we're missing for most dungeons is going to be medallions, which those can be scattered in a lot of locations. Ice Rod, which is one of the most notoriously scattered items.
Only one check in the game that it cannot be behind.
We got Mirror and Hammer.
Yeah, Hammer's the big one now, given that we've seen the mitts already.
Well, see, at this point, I don't even know if they want to see the Hammer before they see most of the rest of it, because the Hammer would open up almost everything else that they don't want it to open. I mean, yes, it makes a lot more dungeons clearable, but beyond that, it just opens a lot of checks.
Yeah, so the key thing to look at in this race is how long do SEJay and McMonkey put off that hobo check? Because depending on what they find and when they find it, as SEJay's going up the mountain here, they might get away with putting it off for an uncomfortably long time.
Yeah, that part of Paradox has nothing, so we're going to go check the upper 5. And we'll see if this holds anything for us. Kind of hoping so, since they don't have the mitts.
Hey, a full heart. You'll take that when you've only got 4.
2 shields, and that's about it.
Hey, it's nothing but protection.
Yeah, I'm just sure it's not exactly what he wanted to find at this point.
And McMonkey desperately trying to death warp out of the escape sequence, but thwarted by his own fairy.
So we do got Ben. Did Ben not make it to Dark Cross?
He must not have.
But he is going to get his lamp. I guess maybe the Dark Room's got him?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It's one thing to do those Dark Rooms forward, but doing them backwards is usually a little less straightforward, even with the Fire Rod.
Yeah, especially with that mouse with the key.
Yeah, because coming in from the bottom, you know where he's going to be about 90% of the time.
I wonder how long it's going to take for them to get back to Dark Cross dying over there.
If failing it once, that's usually when you decide to cut your losses and not dedicate any more time to that check for a while. So that could bite them.
With all the speed we have, though, it's not too far out of the way for a check. So, I mean, they'll be able to clear up everything pretty quickly. Because, I mean, we already got Wimpy up on the mountain as well.
Yeah, and picking up the lamp makes it a lot easier to decide to go back to it. And they won't be able to put it off for too long because it is the Moon Pearl, after all. There's only so much they can do before they find it.
Yeah, I'm not sure they have much of another choice at this point. Because once he finishes up the mountain, it looks like Spiral Cave wasn't anything either. Once he finishes up the mountain and he finishes Eastern, they're going to be running low on checks.
Yeah, meanwhile, SEJay and McMonkey, finishing up their mountain checks, having not found the Titan's mitts, are unable to do the Dark Death Mountain checks.
What is SEJay going for? Did he get his... He's heading this way, so I'm assuming he has his bow. Because I'm not showing bow or flippers.
If the tracker is accurate, then this is a very bold play from SEJay.
Yeah, because McMonkey's already cleared it, so he knows where Bo is, and he knows what's in the dungeon. So I'm guessing this is SEJay just going in with Bo to finish the dungeon off. While McMonkey's heading into Paradox, getting his sword. We got Wimpy just finishing the mountain, and Ben is also cleaning up Eastern.
Yeah, it looks like both teams are just kind of finishing up the things they know they have to do that are available to them. Yeah, Wimpy going for Super Bunny Cave as the Super Bunny. So again, no Moon Pearl for Land of the Blind.
This isn't a completely bad play, though, or it's not a bad play, because he can still get these out of logic. He'll just know that they're out of logic.
Yeah, the thing that really hurts is not being able to do Hookshot Cave. With the early Hookshot and early mitts, and then that's really nice to be able to do, because that's, what is that, 4? That's 4 chests in there.
Yeah, and it's been, everything in the early has been pointing to Death Mountain, and I wouldn't be surprised if something else is in Hookshot area, or somewhere else up on the mountain.
It's Super Bunny, though. That's where the hammer is.
Well, that makes sense. So Hammer's going to open up a lot for them, and I would put them at a small advantage at this point, especially if
that's a 1 in 3 win. That's a 1 in 3 win for them. You know, chances were one out of 3 that the useful item wasn't going to be in Hookshot Cave, which they couldn't access. But they lucked out.
I mean, there still may be a useful item in Hookshot. We don't know.
Yeah, there could be.
So far, the overworld on this has been loaded.
Yeah, at this point, though, sort of the most useful item would be, you know, Ice Rod or a Medallion, which may well be for Turtle Rock, so they may be able to get away with just going back up there one more time for the PR, and that's it.
I think the item they want to see is boots.
Yes, everybody wants to see boots early, especially if they're routing kind of aggressively and skipping stuff. You're sort of praying that the things you're skipping aren't the boots. So it's the last thing you want to skip early.
And then I think the thing that they may want to be their go mode is probably Mirror. At this point. Because Mirror locks out Swamp, and it locks out Mirror checks. So it keeps them from having to do a lot of stuff early.
Yeah, the sort of caveat to that is you don't want Go Mode Mirror to be at the bottom of Turtle Rock.
Definitely seen that before. But rando is rando sometimes. There's usually always one item that's out of the way, especially when you get this much up front. Again, like you said, there's so much to check that sometimes it just comes down to what you check and win. And in that respect, not having the mirror is kind of a blessing in disguise. Just because, again, there are 4 mirror checks that are sort of all scattered around. You can route them in with other things, but it's kind of nice to have them off the table. Then again, you may have to consider when you clean them up later on if the mirror shows up, you know, halfway through your Dark World exploration. Okay, we got McMonkey giving us a new check. He's going to go into Dark World over in Mire. We're going to get Mire Shed and see what medallion we need for Mire.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when New Hyrule Order decides to go up the mountain, since they did clear out the light Death Mountain. And now with the mitts, they can go do Dark Death Mountain, but they may be putting that off for a while now that they have Dark World access down on the ground.
Yeah, we do need Quake to get into Mire, so that's good knowledge. We got a sword over in Mire Shed, so we got Master Sword. Always love to see more swords.
Yeah, usually when I actually kind of like playing without a sword, but as soon as I see the first one, I want the second one as soon as possible.
See, I'm the opposite. Give me all the swords up front. I'm not very good at swordless. And there's Ben finding that Moon Pearl.
Okay, so not taking them too long. So now they definitely have they're in a comfortable spot because they did get the hammer from Dark Death Mountain. Ben doesn't have it yet, but they know where it is.
Yeah, so for them having the hammer, that opens up a lot of dungeon checks. So of course Pod is completely finishable at this point. They've got Thieves Town is completely finishable with the hammer. They've got Skullwoods. Pretty much they can beat everything except for Swamp, T-Rock, Ice, and Mire at this point, I believe. Oh, they also need a way into Desert.
Yeah, so McMonkey here getting a head start on the Dark World for New Hyrule Order here. Checking
Yeah,
the
I like this.
Skullwoods.
I like this. He's probably going to go middle to the back, go ahead and kill Moth, and then I assume he is going to do Thieves Town unless SEJay dives right in.
Yeah, something important to note though is he does have the Master Sword, but it's still a 5-heart green male, no half magic Moth fight. It's not a trivial fight by any means.
No, to me this is probably one of the hardest and most random fights in the game. Moving floor spikes eating your hits. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, but
yeah. Also, there's a moth flying around, but yeah, it's mostly the moving floor and the spikes.
And he hurts on green though.
Yeah.
So SEJay is clearing up Village of Outcasts, and we do have Ben. Didn't catch what he saw on T-Rock Medallion. But we do get to clean up Hookshot Cave, see if there was anything left by the Super Bunny. There's Shovel.
One of those question mark items.
Blue Mill. And Red Mill, both Mill upgrades. Nice. Went from no defense to all the defense.
Yeah, so that's a nice find. It's sort of we got a dichotomy here. We got New Hyrule Order with their second sword, and Land of the Blind with both males. McMonkey entering the Mothula fight.
He did have a blue potion, so that's good. So he's gonna get some fire rod shots off here. Oh, and Moth down.
Well done. That was just watching that. It's just like, ooh. Oh. Thank goodness for those potions.
Hey, Shovel has boots.
I thought about saying it when Shovel showed up. I was like, hey, maybe boots are behind that shovel. And lo and behold. So yeah, Land of the Blind. I think this is sort of the point where we say that we can say Land of the Blind is ahead.
Yeah, they're ahead on items until New Hyrule Order makes it to Dark World Death Mountain.
It's really hard to argue with boots and hammer versus no boots and no hammer.
Is this our first check of Hype Cave? It is Money Cave.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that with those boots, having not done any of Thieves Town yet, SEJay's foray bootsless into Thieves Town is losing quite a bit of time by comparison.
Yeah, so Dark Death Mountain, for anybody who's just now tuning in, is got the hammer and Super Bunny, both melt upgrades and hookshot, as well as the shovel, which is locking the boots.
Yeah, the silver lining for New Hyrule Order is that I guess they'll be going up there eventually because they'll be able to get all of those items in one trip, which is going to be attractive at some point.
And we do got a couple new checks going on here. We got all new checks going on. We got Thieves Town, Skull. We got Pyramid being checked, and he is grabbing it. It was a blue bottle. Then we also got Hera. It looks like he was thinking about Hera potting, but it looks like he's just gonna hammer his way up the regular way.
Yeah, probably not as comfortable with the bomb setup, and can't do the hook speed setup without the boots, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, apparently since they do not have the hammer, there is an item on both blind and in the big chest, and so he's gonna be leaving the big chest behind. It's never a good feeling when you know it's an item and you have to leave it. We do got a catfish checkup on Ben's side of the screen, and that's just a big 20. So as of right now, we're still looking for Quake, Bombos. We did find Ice Rod. It looks like Ice Rod was in Hera?
I would imagine so.
Is that where Magic Bat? Okay, Ice Rod was on Magic Bat. So another thing that's locked behind Dark Death Mountain and the hammer. So we're missing Bombos, Quake, and Mirror from Go Mode, or Mirror and Book if Book's locking Mirror.
Yeah, Land of the Blind is in a really good spot, so unless one of those items ends up in the wildest of goose chases, this is gonna be for New Hyrule Order to make up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure when they hit Dark Death Mountain, they're gonna feel really behind, and you might see. I don't know what we're gonna see them do. I know that when SEJay feels behind, he does like to do some bizarre things. For instance, checking Tile Room first in GT.
I was just about to say, Tile Room. That's the classic I'm behind play. Tile Room doesn't have to be check 22, everyone. Spread the word.
It is a good word for it, isn't it, Penguin? Hey, it won him a race, though, because it was actually there when he did it.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you never try it, you can never win off the back of it. But here we're pod, so this is gonna be big in determining exactly how big this hammer is going to be, and how long New Hyrule Order can afford to go without it.
Yeah, we got SEJay doing the Jeremiah around the world. Now, some of these checks we've probably seen and missed. So we've got a heart piece on Stumpy. And I don't think either one of them's checked Hype Cave yet, so he's probably going to go over to Money Cave. And we do have McMonkey on the mountain.
Given what Wimpy is doing here, I'm going to assume that they confirmed that... Oh, they did not confirm that Turtle Rock was Ether because it is Bombos.
Ben saw it, so Ben's the one who checked it. So I think he just took that portal just because he thought it was faster.
Yeah, I just saw he had a medallion and made a foolish assumption. A hasty assumption, I will say.
Yeah, I almost think New Hyrule Order, especially when McMonkey gets over here to Dark Death Mountain, is going to feel like Purple Chest needs to be something.
Yeah, Wimpy cleaning up Hookshot Cave for the mail.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's free and easy red mail. I'm trying to figure out why he's trying to hookshot back across. Maybe just trying to save the heart for some reason? Oh, does he have a couple potions? He might be trying to do Spike Cave.
Yeah, that would make sense. It is in logic with the Cane of Burna having shown up.
Yeah, it's kind of rough with 5 hearts. Either way you look at it, 5 hearts no half magic, so I hope he has at least a potion or 2 of magic.
He has the hookshot, which can help.
He also has a fairy.
So yeah, you use the fairy first. It's interesting, low heart scratch for this.
So how
For this
quick
part of
do
the
you
game.
think CJ's gonna abandon everything he's doing once McMonkey goes into hookshot?
Probably immediately.
It doesn't show McMonkey having hookshot, but he's got it equipped.
The most painful thing about this too is that shovel isn't even obviously boots. So they may not end up checking that anytime soon.
It's a free and easy check that, to me, it burns you more if you don't just run and check it than it does if you.
Yeah,
don't.
you do kind of have to find a time to do it.
They're saying go Ben, so I'm looking at what's going on over on his side.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
there we
true.
go. Ben finds the mirror in Dark Maze.
So at this point, we are Bombos and Quake away already, and we are only 34 minutes in. For the person who just said double Mel Cave, it's not just double Mel. It's double Mel and boots behind the shovel. That hookshot cave was absolutely great. Oh, we've seen Quake. We have Quake. They said it's VOO chess game.
Yeah, so really our only question now is Bombos, which could be hiding anywhere. Except for in Turtle Rock, which as places for things to not be able to hide goes, is pretty good.
Well, what's nice about this is it can't be in Turtle Rock, and because Turtle Rock's a crystal, it cannot be in GT either.
So yeah, this is looking like a fairly jet seed, especially for Land of the Blind with that Super Bunny check for the hammer, kind of sealed a lot of things for them.
And we have book on blacksmith.
That's a little bit unfortunate.
Bombos can literally be almost anywhere in the game now. Now, what's going to be even worse is if Bombos is either on hammer pegs or on purple chest, because I have a feeling those are going to be left for a while. Bombos can be on ped. That is a location it can be.
Yeah, I would imagine McMonkey does have the shovel. It's not on the tracker, but the red mail is. So unless
He
they
100% picked it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's worth noting that the shovel is in McMonkey's possession, but the boots are not, and that's sort of the consequence of going up the mountain late and finding that hammer. Is at that point you feel like you're behind. You want to go straight to pod. You're not going to waste time going to the grove to dig up that shovel check.
And while we're here doing some cleanup on both sides of the screen, I want to welcome you guys to follow the runners. I posted the links down to their Twitch pages with the command !R. And then you can also follow the commentary team or the tracking team or the restreaming team if you want to. We're all runners of the game. We all enjoy this game. We all enjoy playing and watching it. So I'm actually really want to see what SEJay does from here, because I know SEJay probably feels behind after this, especially if they go check shovel for the boots.
Yeah, it's really going to be on SEJay to do that. Obviously McMonkey's making the pod play after the hammer, so it's sort of on SEJay to decide to check the grove.
Well, sorry, mincing. McMonkey's making the most logical checks in a dungeon, so I know that's one of, if you talk to SEJay's team, that's one of the things he likes to do. He likes to make the most logical checks and stay in dungeons as much as they can.
Oh yeah, for sure. If it's all dungeons, and you have to do it at some point anyway, why not do it and hope that you just pick up everything you need along the way?
Yeah, so we got SEJay also cleaning up Spike Cave, just to make sure they don't have to come back to it. So for anybody just tuning in, we are in no mode except for Bombos. We know where every other item that could possibly be needed is, except for Bombos.
Yeah, if McMonkey picks up this mirror early enough, we might be able to route that shovel check in with K45 if need be.
And with Hammer and Fire Rod, SEJay is going straight into Ice.
Yeah, so this is going to be a new check.
It is, and we got Swamp over on Ben's side, so we got 2 new dungeons coming in. NHO does live in dungeons, as said by their teammate. So where do you think we're going to find Bombos?
I'm going to say it's checkerboard.
I like checkerboard. I was actually going to say cutscene chest of Mire.
I'm not cruel.
Well, that's not even cruel. They have to do Mire, and they're probably going to have to full clear it anyways. But I mean, literally, we could mention a ton of checks in the game, because especially with them finding Book. I mean, Bombo tablets, the Ether tablet's probably the worst one, with Book being where it was.
Yeah. So here we see SEJay going for the infamous Icebreaker.
So he does have Canis Samaria.
Ooh, I'm gonna get another sword. That's a nice thing to see in Ice Palace.
Ice has had a lot of swords so far that I've seen in this tournament, and a lot of co-op seeds.
Yeah, the great thing about Icebreaker is there we go. That's already 2 check. I actually missed what the first check was. I guess it was a small key, or no, it wasn't. Was it? Well, anyway, it basically makes Ice Palace from a very rear-loaded dungeon in terms of checks to a very front-loaded dungeon in terms of checks.
So first chest was map. So was that second chest an item?
The second chest was the sword, and there is a full heart rate beneath it. So we've seen 4 chests, 2 items. There's 1 remaining. And by contrast, we have Ben in Swamp Palace here, getting the second non-guaranteed small key, and it's the map.
Let's see. They know where Ice Rod is. They also know where Mirror is, so it's just going to be clean up between both of them to get those.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that having seen that map, Ben is opting to not skip left side swamp here.
Yeah, I want to say he's seen both the map and the compass. I don't remember what was in the first couple checks. I know he's seen the map, so if you've seen the map, you usually don't skip this. Or you don't wait on it. There's at least 1 guaranteed item. But on the other side, we have McMonkey cleaning up Pod. We have a hammer peg check. This is our first hammer peg check. And it is a full heart container.
I'm hesitating a bit before deciding to go ahead and pick that up.
Well, I wouldn't have hesitated just because it's been a low health seed anyways. I mean, he might be comfortable on Red Mill, but still that 1 extra heart could end up saving you later when stuff deals a lot more damage.
Yeah, honestly, I'd say most of that hesitation is probably just, you always hesitate just so you can make sure you actually see what it is. Yeah, you don't want to try to turn around as fast as possible only to realize as the screen transition is fading out that it's something you actually need to go back in and pick up. And there's Bombos on left side swamp.
Oh, so we are in no mode, and actually I think that team is in complete no mode.
Yeah, that is go mode for that team. They know where every item they need to pick up is.
Yeah, so I can say solidly I feel like Ben and Worldwide Wimpy have a huge advantage right now.
Yeah, Ben has to pick up another sword, the Ice Rod, and Quake. And Wimpy needs to pick up the Mirror and Bombos.
Yeah, so Wimpy needs to get into Pod and Swamp. And they don't know it yet, but they're going to get a free sword instead of ice on the Icebreaker chest. And then he just needs to go to Village of Outcast to pick up his Quake and his Ice Rod from Magic Bat. So, I mean, it's, 2 full heart containers on Diver Down.
Yeah, even in Go mode, that's a really nice spot for that sword, too, because even in Go mode, that's such an easy chest to pick up. You just grab it. Another full heart in Swamp. Well, that's why this has been such a low health seed.
Yeah, that's actually great, because those are chests you normally check for silvers or stuff anyways.
Yeah.
And for them to just be loaded with hearts, they're going to be happy to grab those.
Yeah, and it's those chests that even in Go mode, you just pick them up unless there's literally nothing else you could want.
So we've got kind of a transfer of dungeons here. We got SEJay going into Pod to go grab his mirror, and we've got McMonkey and Ice going to pick up, I think it was just the sword in here.
Yeah, it's... Unless it was more than just the sword, it seems like a kind of odd decision to go and follow SEJay straight into Ice. Though that sword is, it is kind of nice to have because it speeds up quite a few other things.
I can see that in chat. One of the players or one of the chatters is saying that they think SEJay is going to do Mire Desert Palace after this. And like I said, they do like to stay in dungeons, so I don't doubt it. They might clear all the dungeons they can before they check any more overworld. So it might be a long time, if ever, that they find the boots.
Yeah, remind me, where did Quake show up?
VOO, it's the VOO chess game.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because Wimpy and SEJay both have it.
Okay, for the moment, we can't see where Wimpy is, but we are watching Ben finish up Swamp. And on Plastic Sword, that's not a super easy fight. But with spin slashes, it's not too bad. The spin slashes do a double spin and kill the puffs in one hit, one double spin anyways. Alright, so we've got another overlap of checks here. We've got Worldwide MP going into Pod for his mirror, since they are in complete Knowledge Go mode. We've got Ben is going to... he's going to go pick up his Ice Rod and his Quake, and then probably clean up the dungeons of Skull and Thief's Town, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
I don't know what it would take for NHO to come back from this at this point. I mean, they still can. It's just with the other team being in complete go mode already.
Yeah, and that's one of the hard things about co-op too. Is there's only so much that routing can sort of make up for after a certain point. If it's 1v1, then a single check can make a lot of difference, but since you've got sort of two eyes sort of covering more ground, it's sort of the variance kind of is a lot less.
Yeah, and in response to another comment in chat, the way that SEJay's team plays New Higher Order, they might never find boots. They like to stay in dungeons, so they may. I think everything else that they haven't found yet is essentially in a dungeon other than Ice Rod, and that might be their saving grace.
Yeah, unless the Ganis Tower big key is on the torch.
Well, even then, by that point,
in which case, oops.
Ice Rod's on Magic Bat. Yeah, I expect them not to find Ice Rod or boots for quite a while with how many dungeons they have open.
Yeah, so, and at this point, I'd say we're expecting the silver arrows to be in Ganon's Tower or Turtle Rock, most likely. They could show up before then, but
we've got
that seems to me to be what you'd expect.
Yeah, I agree. We got 2 checks in Mire as well, but the odds of them full clearing Mire is very, very low. They're gonna get the big key and probably bounce as soon as they find it.
Yeah, at this point, that's what you do. Mire is it's not a rich enough dungeon to bother full clearing if you don't absolutely have to.
I'm interested to see where McMonkey is going over toward. He's going Dark World.
Probably, maybe to clean up smiths. You know,
Well,
check magic bat and hammer pegs and all that.
Yeah, because the only thing SEJay actually did was just smith.
Yeah. Oh, and also picking up Quake.
Oh, by the way, SEJay found the silver arrows.
Oh, well, that's fortuitous, isn't it?
And both of them actually have the silver arrows. Where did they find them? Silver's
Ice
on...
Palette, maybe.
Yeah, on Cold Stair.
Yeah. The instant I was like, okay, what have they done? Ice Palace. That's why they went right. That's why McMonkey went straight in after SEJay. Because that's otherwise kind of an odd choice to go and do ice right after SEJay did ice. If there was just a sword there, but if you get silvers too, then that's time save on Pod. That's time save on Vitreous. That's time save on Argus. It's a whole lot of time save with those silver arrows. Lots of bosses are really easy to kill with those.
Yeah, so as of right now, we have a major item advantage to Land of the Blind, being in go mode, and we have a major combat advantage to New Hyrule Order.
Yeah, the problem is Land of the Blind has the boots. It's hard to argue with the boots.
And they're not going to miss silver arrows.
Yeah, that's true. Silver arrows are coming, so no, that's no Ganon advantage.
They may miss the sword, though.
May miss the sword. That's a pretty free chest to check. And they're not going to have the silvers by that point, so you may as well open that one for silvers, because the time you lose opening it isn't worth the time you'd save if it's silvers.
I know they won't miss it. I'm just saying that that's...
It's technically possible to miss that sword.
If we're rooting for something for NHO at this point to try to catch up, they probably need to skip that chest and be at a disadvantage combat-wise.
Or SEJay and McMonkey play really well and find the big key and tile room.
I like that, playing really well in tile room.
Just play really well and then bet it all on tile room. Works every time when it works.
Man, when they find the ice rod and stuff, they are going to feel behind.
No, for sure. If they didn't feel behind when they picked up the hammer in the first place, they're definitely going to be behind after that ice rod.
They're doing their normal stuff, so I don't know if they feel behind or not. Maybe they feel like their opponents may have done a similar route, because they're just doing what they normally do. They're going through clearing as many dungeons as they can get cleared.
Yeah, I mean, with this many items, that is the play regardless. The big question is if they do find that ice rod, which they probably will since both of them are in the village area. So you'd imagine that if they're going to find that ice rod, they're finding it now or way too late. How behind do they feel, and is it enough to make them skip Left Side Swamp?
And that's another problem. If you feel behind Left Side Swamp, something you want to skip.
Yeah, it's a lot more common in solo runs as opposed to co-op. In co-op, the potential cost of doing Left Side Swamp is a little bit diminished, again, because it saves the second person time regardless. So it's a little less common to skip it in co-op.
That mini jelly being rude to McMonkey over there, knocking him off.
You know, honestly, I would say the choice of whether or not to skip left side swamp kind of depends on how many dungeons they do before they get to swamp.
I'm really surprised that Ben's never went and got the second sword that they found. He's sitting over here doing hammer blind. Or hammer moth, sorry.
Well, hammers are cooler than swords. He's a dwarf at heart.
And hammer moth down as I say that. Yeah, somebody in chat agreed. The sword with the flute should have been a pretty early check. I know he's probably just waiting until he goes to that area, which is probably pretty soon. One of them,
yeah,
it's
one of those things where it's like if you're confident enough in your abilities with the fighter sword, you may as well take the, you know, what would that be, 30 seconds to flute over to Meyer Shed and grab that. You may as well save that 30 seconds if you're confident enough in your abilities.
I feel like with the double potion grab, he's definitely either going Meyer or Ice. And McMonkey is grabbing. We're gonna get a hammer peg and hopefully a powder check on McMonkey's side. But I don't think he's going to make it to the boots. I think he's gonna find Ice Rod. He may.
Yeah, they might still bank on purple chest. It kind of depends, because SEJay already turned in the smith. McMonkey hasn't done that, so he has to do that. But the fact that he's doing so might indicate that he might go ahead and, because I don't think they've done K45 either. It kind of depends how behind they feel after Ice Rod. And again, as Vortex points out in chat, if he's deciding to go swamp, it's not a bad play to just do all that stuff kind of on the way, especially since it's all just kind of sitting out there.
So with this Ice Rod, they are going to be just Bombos away, and if they do left side swamp, they'll find it. And it just depends on if they find the boots before he gets to Bombos.
Yeah, it looks like SEJay is heading into swamp now too.
He is grabbing purple chest, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, my thought here is McMonkey is cleaning up this stuff to give SEJay time to.
He's fluting away.
Oh no, not the flute.
He fluted away. Well, rip. Yeah, he realized that he's going back.
Oh, nice tech there, picking up the block so that the portal doesn't nab him away.
I think if you're carrying anything, because I think I saw someone carry a bomb through one too earlier.
Yeah, it's if you're carrying anything, but it's a nice presence of mind. A lot of less experienced runners would just take the hit and mirror back.
He's gonna feel really happy he came back for this.
Or really foolish that he lost like 20 seconds to it. So now we'll see if those boots show up. Maybe shovel isn't so important now.
I think it's really going to depend on if he can make it to shovel before.
Well, that flute's coming out again.
Yeah, it's going to be if he makes it to shovel before SEJay makes it to left side swamp. Which he might not even go check shovel. He might go into another dungeon.
Looks like he's leaving. Yeah,
we're getting Myers and Desert. I don't dislike the play at all. It's a smart play.
No, it for sure is. Again, dungeons are always it's sort of, if you want to save time, you just go dungeons and hope everything goes your way. There's no better way to save time.
Yeah, I was gonna say we saw whether boots were required for it, but I don't remember where the key was. Yeah, actually, Ben just cleared desert, so we know we should know. It's just I don't know if anybody's seen it. It's not required, so yeah, boots are probably never going to be found for new high roll order.
That's about the biggest slap in the face at this point. Is you see that the boots aren't required. That just what they're probably thinking. They're probably thinking this is a GT boot seed. You know, Desert doesn't need the boots. We still haven't found it at this point.
So what do we got left? We got kind of a dream situation for Ben. He's going to clean up Meyer. He's going to go over to Ice. And then he gets to go do T-Rock into Hera, into GT Aga 1 and Ganon. So it's kind of like the dream ending you want.
Yeah, the biggest sort of unfortunate thing is that they're not going to have the silver arrows for all of these bosses that are made very trivial with them. But that sort of pales in comparison to the other advantages that they have in their pocket.
Yeah, so for chat, the pretty much Hookshot Cave was loaded, and Dark Death Mountain itself was loaded. We had Super Bunny with the hammer, and we had Hookshot Cave with double mail and shovel, and the boots are under the shovel spot.
Yeah, and really the big difference maker between the two teams is when Land of the Blind went up and checked Hookshot Cave, it was still sort of early enough that it made a whole lot of sense to just go and clean up that shovel check. Whereas by the time New Hyrule Order found it, it was kind of time to be going. So doing dungeons was sort of a higher priority at that point in the game. So that's sort of the difference that when you find an item, just in terms of raw time, can make.
Silvers are on Cold Stare, Sensei. I do agree with what their chat's saying. They're saying that with that shovel being there and one of them being ahead, that person should have went and checked shovel to say whether or not he should even grab the shovel.
Yeah, I would agree with that. In co-op, that's one of the biggest things you can sort of do to, well, maybe not biggest things, but one of the easiest things you can do to help out your teammate is, if you get an item for a fetch quest, turn it in at your earliest convenience so that your partner knows if they even need to bother getting it in the first place.
Yeah, because the whole point of co-op is to try to get your teammate the least amount of checks possible, right? So you want them to skip every chest that's not useful. And you're going to, like, the first person to a dungeon is going to route the second person through that dungeon optimally.
Yeah, and the longer you wait to turn in one of those fetch quest items, the shovel, the bottle, the mushroom, even the Book of Mudora, the greater the chance that your partner has to pick it up just in case or miss it forever.
Oh, SEJay's down there.
Oh, okay, at this point we're seeing Cave 45. I would be amazed if we didn't see shovel.
They did say SEJay skipped left side swamp.
Oof.
So they may get their boots, but they're gonna miss their bomb.
Yeah. Well, if it's any consolation, that kind of means that not finding the boots doesn't really matter as much now.
Oh yeah, I think he's gonna, here in just a second, he is not gonna feel great.
The other option is to hope that left side swamp doesn't have anything, and if the second person, if you still haven't found it by the time your partner's going through, then the second person can go and clean it up, just so that you don't end up completely last locationing it.
Hey, we do need to pay attention over here. We do have Ben on Vit.
And they're using the Cane of Burna strats. One of the best strategies to use if all you've got to your name is the Master Sword.
So Wimpy did check that first chest after Icebreaker, so they do know Temperance there. And once he finds Silvers on Cold Stare, they're literally probably not going to check anything else they don't have to.
Yeah. Honestly, once you... Oh, there we go. McMonkey picking up the boots finally at 1 hour and 2 minutes. It's a far cry from what Land of the Blinds had them for about half an hour now.
Yeah, they've had them since about 30 minutes in. That's a long speed deficit to come back from.
Yeah, and it's by no fault of SEJay and McMonkey's. It was on shovel turn in, you know? It's sort of like I said about Hobo at the beginning, that's one of the checks that you can a lot of the time get away with just, you know, let's just hope nothing's there. That can save you a lot of time. And boots is one of those things that makes you pay for those decisions.
Yeah, so now they're having to check everything for this Bombos medallion, and unfortunately, it's where SEJay left it on left side swamp.
Yeah, and that's, again, part of that is coming off the back of some of the aggressive routing decisions from making the Dark Death Mountain play just a little bit late. It wasn't super late when they finally went to Super Bunny Cave and Hookshot Cave, but it was late enough that they kind of have to make the decisions of, okay, what are we going to skip? Because we can't skip nothing, because if you skip nothing, then you're just going to maintain pace at best. Whereas if you get the stuff early, you can sort of feel that level of comfort that you've got the freedom to, you know, we're not so far behind that we can't afford to check left side swamp, for instance.
Yeah, I think the major issue is just they put off Dark Death Mountain for so long that they had enough stuff that everything was just wide open, and they had so many checks they just wanted to clear dungeons first, and that's how they play, and that's I don't fault them for playing that way. It just didn't help them in this seed in particular.
Yeah, that is, dungeons first is kind of the way that you get the lowest times, but how well it pays off kind of depends on whether or not the seed is overworld heavy or dungeon heavy, or, you know, kind of a mix, and which overworld checks specifically.
And it's a God Mire, apparently, but because they didn't check left side swamp, they're full clearing Mire to look for Bombos.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough, but you know, that's left side swamp. It's an easy thing to, you save 2 minutes by skipping it, so it can pay off, but it's not the day for it.
Was not the day. I think they do fall behind. He hasn't done cutscene chest yet. He's gonna go check right side.
Yeah, to answer a question in chat, a God Mire is when in the first 2 chests you find the big key, which is the only item you need to go to the boss and finish the dungeon. If you don't find it within those first 2 checks, it's going to be at least another couple minutes longer of a dungeon. But if you don't need to find any items in there, then if you find that big key early, you can just go right on to the back.
But let's give props to Land Levon. They did route this really, really well for this seed.
Yeah, I mean, early on, the only sort of questionable thing was when they were going to end up getting that Moon Pearl. And again, like I mentioned, that's sort of a good item to be stuck on because it kind of limits your options.
And they would have got it way earlier if Ben hadn't died as the first attempt into the Dark Rooms. Well, we do have a lot of cleanup going on. We have 2 players in Mire. We have SEJay actually going to check Pyramid Fairy, which we haven't seen yet. I don't know if anything in there that could give him any kind of advantage at this point.
Oh, it could be Butter Sword in there. It could be the Gold Sword, the last sword upgrade.
I don't think it's going to save him at this point.
Now, also worth noting that you ordinarily are not allowed to dash with that bomb, as SEJay is showing right here. There's a little, oh dear, he I think assumed it was still following him. But yeah, usually when you press the dash button, the bomb stays in place and explodes, as is its wont. But I believe has something to do with getting hit. You can trick the game into letting you dash with the bomb, as everybody would love to be able to do.
So we got a lot of people cleaning up stuff, but we do have Ben starting to head for T-Rock. So this is the last dungeon we haven't seen. Unfortunately, getting to go mode this dungeon isn't much different.
Yeah, there are a couple things you can do when go moding it that you can't do if you still have items, or if you do still have items, it can be very risky, i.e. skipping lava chest.
Yeah, they get to skip lava chests. That's probably the only chest they're honestly going to be able to skip unless they find enough keys to completely skip laser bridge.
Yeah, they could skip big chest too. That is if they find the big chest, their big key early enough. If they don't find the big key early enough, then they also can't skip lava chest.
That is true. We could have vanilla big key, which would be fun.
And I think we got CJ going up to check catfish, which is
yeah.
something that Ben did. Oh, it feels like ages ago. Oh nope. I think we've got Graveyard Ledge. Graveyard Ledge is it's got to be.
Well, he's
or
also...
maybe Bonk Rocks. Bonk Rocks. Yeah. This is a good route at this point.
Yeah, they got 3 checks up here that nobody's checked yet. So. I'm sitting here with reading chat. So, how's chat doing tonight?
Looks like Chad is debating the merits of skipping left side swamp.
I mean, there's a lot of merits. You do it when you feel behind and you hope nothing's there. It's gonna bite them this time. It probably wouldn't bite them in another race. It's just the way rando's rando.
It is another thing that's worth pointing out though is there's a big difference between skipping left side swamp in co-op versus skipping left side swamp in a 1v1 sort of situation.
Yeah, so I don't think McMonkey's gonna skip it. I think McMonkey's probably gonna first check it before he even goes to the back.
Yeah, at this point, that's sort of what I would go for. You don't have both people skip it at this point. If SEJay hasn't found Bombos, they're saying, okay, McMonkey, you gotta do left side.
So
as we see a little bit of muscle memory there, going to bomb open the wall there.
I'm wanting to know if either one of them's gonna bomb or bonk this chest when they find Bombos left side swamp.
Ben is cruising through Turtle Rock here, as Wimpy is not far behind.
Yeah, I mean, they're really, really, really far ahead at this point. They can take a few deaths in GT, and I think they're still going to be fine. But I am interested, so we got to skip lava chest, so we found big key early in the dungeon. That's always a good feeling. Now to see whether he skips the big chest, because the big chest can also be a key.
Yeah, the thing that hurts the most about this for New Hyrule Order is that SEJay is going to have to go back into Swamp to go to left side to get it.
He's going to have to reflood dam, reflood everything.
Like, it's not just that they're finding it so long after their opponents, it's that SEJay has to go back to a dungeon he already cleared and get it. That always hurts in a co-op. At that point, you know you're, unless your opponent did the same thing, you're in a pretty bad spot. And let's be real, if you have to hope your opponent did the same thing as you when you make a mistake, you're not in a happy place.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain here in a minute that SEJay's not going to be feeling good about where they're at. If he's not already not feeling good about where they're at.
But on the upside, we might get to see Tile Room. Something that always makes me smile.
There's actually a chance that There's a small chance that Ben makes it into GT and makes it almost all the way through GT before they even get there.
Yeah, McMonkey doesn't even check the other left side swamp chest. That's Bombos, that's go mode. They are out of here.
Yeah, you're gonna see SEJay just beeline straight for the boss at this point. He knows where go mode is. He doesn't like it, but he knows.
I would also like to point out how close Wimpy and Ben are to each other. That doesn't always happen in a co-op, as you can kind of see on New Hyrule Order's side.
Yeah, so the big thing is when you get to route and you get enter go mode, and then you get to route your partner through the dungeon, it just makes the second person going through the dungeon catch up that much faster. So by the end of it, if you guys were even like just a dungeon apart or 2 dungeons apart, the other person will catch up. And be usually within a minute or 2 of the finishing time. Doesn't always work if they're like 5 dungeons behind, but... Alright, so with Trinex down, the next stop is going to be Tower of Hera. Which I'm assuming is just going to be a Hera pot into a Moldrum kill.
Yeah, Tower of Hera is 3 rooms if you do Hera pot.
So I know we're going to be starting the big key guessing game soon, and it usually ends when they enter GT Tower. So when are we going to start the GT guessing game, since he's going to be right on top of it?
I say as soon as Moldorm starts exploding, I'd say that's a good time, because it's gonna be pretty quick. So we got that entire cutscene to get guesses in.
Yeah, so get your numbers ready. Wait for the command to pop up. Not gonna have much time to enter your numbers, folks.
And I suppose we can explain the game as Ben begins the fight.
They started it a little early, so we got a little bit early.
We'll explain the game right now. Ganis Tower has 22 checks, any of which could contain the big key required to climb the tower and defeat the wizard at its top. Which chest do you think the big key is going to be found in? I can't believe I'm the first person to guess 3. Of course, for Hope Room right, Hope Room left, Tile Room. And there we go. That's a quick Moldorm kill. As Wimpy heads up to Trinex. And McMonkey, having finished up the regular dungeons, is heading into Turtle Rock now. So a whole dungeon behind Wimpy at this point. But all things considered, not horrible. And here we go. Ben is heading off to the left side. Torch is not the big key, so that's 1.
And Bob will survive for now.
Yeah, so we'll see if Ben decides to go Dark Magician or full left.
Usually the solid rule for co-op is first person in, always Dark Magicians. We'll see if that's how they like to play it. It really just depends on the runner. So we got check 2.
I just always Dark Magician and then check Tile Room if I'm feeling frisky that day.
Check 4. Not finding a lot of small keys. And half magic in DM room. So it's not 1 through 5. And he's staying left side. I actually like this because it's gonna let Worldwide Wimpy go right, and he hasn't found a lot of keys, so the odds of a small key being in Hope Room are actually a little bit higher.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they chance it, or if Wimpy goes and gets the guaranteed key on the left side quick before. At this point, since there were so few keys, I would say it's a fair.
I would say it's a fair gamble, yeah. I mean, it probably has a key over here. It's not guaranteed, but it's likely. And there's one.
There it is.
Seven. I think that was check 7.
Yeah, and so reminder that we are still going off of Ben's count.
That was check 7, correct? Because we got Torch 4, and then the Firebar room, and then the Fire Snake room.
I believe so. I believe 7 is the Fire Snake room if it's full left. 8, 9, 10.
No, it's 11. Not 11. So he's gonna go straight left all the way to Ice Armor. So it's either in Compass.
Yeah, that's good news.
Or
That's good news for Wimpy.
Very likely it's on Wimpy's side.
Unless it's in Tile Room, which Wimpy for some reason skipped. Walked right past that check.
Oh, it's behind Ice Terminus, it looks like. Or it's Tile Room.
SMH my head.
We've got 4 locations left.
Five locations. There's Bob's chest
Bob's
right
chest.
here.
Yeah, this is 12.
I always forget about that one too.
That was 12, right?
Yes.
Alright. So if it's not Ice Armos, it's... Hey, if it's not Ice Armos, it's 16. Odds are not in my favor, though. Odds are 12. The 13 through 15. There it is.
And
13.
there it is. Vanilla Big Key. I believe that's the chest the Big Key is usually in.
And our lucky winner's Windfox.
Congratulations to Windfox. Enjoy your free internet points.
You got a good 23 points.
That's a fair haul. Ooh, yeah, chat pointing out Ben is missing a small key. They may have done their math. Because they between the two of them, they opened all the chests except for Tiled chest. So they may know whether or not there's a good chance that there's a small key up top, since this was a pretty key light GT basement.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would have cost him much time to get the one on Hope chest. So I'm kind of surprised he didn't.
So here's a question that I don't know the answer to. Is there key logic restricting whether or not a small key can be in the GT big chest?
Yes, I believe so, but I'm not sure.
I mean, it's
somebody else should
often come up.
And Math Girl said it has happened before that a small key has been in GT big.
So there's a possibility that well, maybe not a possibility of 2 small keys in the basement, but there are 2 possibilities for a small key in the basement.
I actually do not like this gamble with there being a small key on the right chest in Hope Room.
Yeah, I'd be more inclined to think that it's not a gamble at all. It's just a lapse.
Yeah, because that doesn't.
It's an easy mistake to make, especially when you've done between the two of you. You've covered so much ground. You just assume you have a key.
Well, we do have just to highlight what's going on. We do have Ben on Lamol 2 with silvers and gets the 0 cycle.
Would that I was so good with those arrows. I'm notoriously bad at that fight.
Did Wimpy go back and go full left side to get over here?
That's a good question. Maybe for the 10 arrows?
Yeah, he did. He apparently went all the way back left side.
Yeah, the best reason I can think of.
Oh, he was out of magic on the bridge.
Ah, yeah, that's no good. But as a bonus, he gets the arrows, which is nice for Ice Armos here. So we're coming up pretty soon on Ben's last hope to not have to do the GT climb again.
Yeah, we're hoping he finds a small key in one of the. He's got 3 chests to find it. Not in one.
Strike 1.
There
we go. Yeah, I'm curious. We should remember to ask about that. To know if that was an intentional play or just a lucky gamble.
Yeah, I'd be curious to ask him that. It's definitely a good question to ask, since to me, I don't think it would have hurt him time-wise to grab that hope chest key.
Yeah,
I think it costs the same amount of time that it does to go back and check those chests in this room almost. I mean, it might be like a second or 2 difference. I guess it depends on how ahead you feel. So McMonkey, as Ben is finishing GT and Wimpy is already starting his gauntlet, McMonkey is going to be the first one for his team to enter GT.
Yeah, and that's a good point about you know, how ahead you're feeling, because no matter how well you route, you never want to rest on your laurels.
Yeah, because it could have been real bad if there wasn't a small key up there, because that could have allowed McMonkey to catch him.
Yeah, though bearing in mind that McMonkey does have to make it all the way to Ice Armos. That was a speedy Aga 2 fight.
Yeah, that was what, a 3 or 4 cycle?
I'm not sure. All I know is I looked away for a few seconds and then Aga was going down. So, though yes, we do have Aga 1 coming up.
Yeah, we need them not to forget that they need to do Aga 1. But so for anyone who does not, it was a triple double, so it was 3 phases. So for anyone who is not aware of how co-op works, the first finisher will not determine the winner. It's a average of both teams' times. So it's the average of both your players.
And we see Ben going straight into Aga's tower.
Did not forget.
Yeah, it is really kind of nice how it just ends up working. It almost seems intentional, in a way, because you don't get a refill after the Aga 2 boss fight, because technically it's still part of the final boss fight. But you do get one after Aga 1, since that is the boss of this quote-unquote dungeon. So if you haven't been forced to defeat Aga already in the seed, you get to just climb the tower, get that free refill, and get to drop down into Ganon with full hearts and magic. And you're usually armed to the teeth for the tower climb as well.
Yeah, and he's going up it with tempered silvers, half magic fire rod. I mean, he really doesn't have a care in the world for this tower.
Red mail.
Lamp.
Damage boost through everything. Lamp, yeah. Though with all the rest of the stuff, I'd be okay to have everything else. I'd be okay with not having Lamp if I had everything else doing Aga.
Yeah, that room that he just went through is the only one I still struggle with without Lamp. In Aga Tower. Because I think a lot of us still struggle with Myers Dark Rooms. Wimpy chose to grab it instead of killing the mini Helmasaur for a key.
And probably because he didn't have the arrows equipped.
And he only has 4 arrows.
The upside of that is, since you have Aga's Tower coming up, there are some opportunities to grab some in there, I believe.
Alright, so our next guessing game, and it's not a verified guessing game, but how many blue balls are we going to get from Aga 1 today? Math Girl with the magic 15.
I'd trust Math Girl with numbers any day.
Very, very low chance of that happening, but would be amazing. I don't know if I've ever actually seen a 15.
I think I got a 15 once, but I whiffed one of the freebie hits, so it doesn't really count.
And we're not getting a 15 because we already got 2 hits in, so that's 1.
Unless Ben whiffs one, like me.
Oh, he's already got 3 hits in on him, so 1 blue ball, 3 hits so far.
And we got SEJay making his way over to the tower, the last runner to enter. Bonk for good measure.
He's got 5 hits, so we're guaranteed to be done at the beginning of the next phase. With 2 blue balls so far. And down 2 blue balls.
Yeah, so that's a nice egg of one fight to see. The nice thing is you sort of know that the amount of time loss you can get on that fight is pretty minimal. One slight optimization you can do in co-op is sort of with those sword spins, you can sort of manipulate Aga to go towards where he's predetermined to teleport to next, sort of minimize his travel distance, but the time gain is kind of minimal from that. But it is a neat little optimization that you can do if you so choose.
So again, while we're getting some cleanup, we're getting a Ganon fight on your top left, as well as 2 GTs on your right, and an Aga Tower on your bottom left. We're gonna post the runners and commentary teams Twitches again. If you would like to follow, make sure to follow your runners for sure. And then you've also got the commentary team, the tracking team, and the restreaming team.
Yeah, Ben is entering the 3rd phase of the Ganon fight. Ganon is not being very kind with these teleports. I think the tensest thing right now is Wimpy's arrow count. If Wimpy doesn't find any more arrows, we're going to have to see some brilliant marksmanship display during the Ganon fight. Otherwise, he's going to have to do some silverless hits of shame.
Well, according to Math Girl, the odds of the 15 blue balls is 1 in 32,768.
And Ben gets a double hit.
And we have Ganon down for Ben. So once he crosses the bridge, we'll be able to get his exact time.
Well, I'm seeing game over on Wimpy's screen.
Yeah, he took an unfortunate death in Aga Tower, but Ben has finished this race in first with a official race time of 1:31:22. Now we got Wimpy restarting his climb up Aga. We've got McMonkey and Lemel 2, and we've got SEJay going for the hammer key. They don't want to risk that key not being in the top. Someone said he didn't die. He just reset that. He just reset aggro. So we do got a lot of cleanup as we go up the 2 tower climbs here. There's not a lot left. There's just a lot of unfortunate routing decisions on the NHO side that put them very, very far behind by putting off Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, and the interesting thing too is it didn't necessarily feel as much that they were putting it off so much, but it just came down to sort of when they ended up doing it. What made sense at that point in the game was just stay in those dungeons. They had enough items to just clear, and it kept them away from the ice rod. It kept them away from the boots, and it ended up costing them to waste time looking for that Bombos medallion after skipping left side swamp with the first runner in. So just a couple of gambles that pay off more often than not. You know, by the numbers, skipping left side swamp isn't a bad play, but today it certainly was.
Yeah, I think the bigger thing in the time advantage was the boots early. They had a 30 minutes boot advantage, which ended up giving them a good time advantage in the seed overall.
Yeah, especially with the dungeons that they had the boots for that New Hyrule Order did not. You know, one of the notable ones being Thieves Town. Thieves Town has so many straightaways that the amount of time you save with the boots is, I'd say it's probably close to about 60% of the time that it would take to clear it without boots. I just pulled that number out of my behind, but feels accurate enough to me.
Yep, so we've got Worldwide Wimpy falling into Ganon here. And we've got McMonkey about to transition into Aga 1 Tower. While SEJay is cleaning up the rest of the gauntlet.
Well, SEJay going for that bonk in the second torture room that I don't believe saves at any time, but looks super cool.
It does. Everything for the couple bits of swag strats, right?
Yeah. Also that that haunted corner in the room after the mini Helmasaurs that bonks you the wrong way for some reason.
We got a really fast Moldorm 2 from SEJay. You blink and you miss that one. He fell / spun and Moldorm 2 down. We have Worldwide Wimpy about to hit his phase 4 Ganon. Prioritizes his torch glitch. Which, for those unfamiliar, torch glitch is just if you light the left one before the right one goes out, the right one will never go out.
Yeah, I've actually heard tell that there are different. Sometimes you'd rather not go for torch glitch if you have half magic. It can be nice to set up for quick doubles with the silver arrows.
Well, he did miss the silver arrow shot with his 4 arrows, so he had to do a couple spins to clean it up, but he got it done.
And that's why you practice your silverless.
Yeah, and as soon as he gets across the bridge, we'll be able to get an official finish time for him as well as an official win for the Land of the Blind at this point. And Worldwide Wimpy finished with an official race time of 1:36.36.
GG's all around.
Yeah, so since both members of Land of the Blind finished before New Hyrule Order, they are going to win this race.
Yeah, it was no longer possible for the average time to match up, but I believe we have the Land of the Blind in here for an interview.
I believe we do. Hey, how's it going, everybody?
When you do the Super Bunny, you get the hammer.
Yeah, you guys got hammer way ahead of the other team. You guys got boots about 30 minutes before they did. Overall, how do you guys feel?
Super nice seed. Wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Pretty fun seed. Lots of... I never really felt like we were too far, like one of us was just trailing behind the other one for too much. I think we did a pretty decent job of splitting up checks, so feel pretty okay about the way we played it.
Yeah, you guys ran super well. We did have a question for Ben we wanted to remember, so before we don't remember it. So, were you nervous going up the GT climb, still missing a small key?
Well, if you know your GT key logic, you would know that I was actually guaranteed a key in Gauntlet. That was not a mistake. That was a big brain play, and you just didn't know.
we had chat talking about how it can be in the big chest, so that could have bit you.
Yeah, no, that was 100% a mistake. In fact, Wimpy even told me, "Hey, there's 2 keys in Hope Room if you need them." And at the time he told me that, I had 3 big keys in my 3 small keys in my pocket. So I'm thinking, yeah, whatever, I'm good. And then it wasn't until I was in Mini Helma Room that I looked up at my key count and said, "Oh," and then I opened the chest and said, "Oh."
Well, it's great that you actually found that. We were hoping it wouldn't bite you.
Well, part of us was hoping it would. Just because you ended up winning relatively handily here. But, that's just the underdog rooter in all of us.
No, I feel you. When you're watching a race, you want to see a close race if you can. I get it. No shame in the game.
It wasn't too far behind. They were in at least McMonkey was in GT as you were cleaning up, I think, about to go into Ganon. So they were about a dungeon and a half behind you.
Yeah, a lot of it was off the back of like a 30-minute boots deficit. They didn't end up getting it until just over an hour in. They finally got around to that shovel check. And the first one into left side, first one into swamp, sort of regrettably decided to skip left side, which was a little bit unfortunate tonight. And you guys made all the right decisions at the right times.
Yeah, I mean it's a good day when your gambles pay off. It certainly doesn't hurt that you're in co-op. You feel okay being a little extra thorough because it's on average only costing you half the time to make those extra little out of the way checks, like going to get a Gina early, stuff like that normally I wouldn't do in a one-on-one seed.
Yeah, speaking of out of the way checks, sort of the one moment where it looked like you guys might have been in a little bit of a rough spot was when Ben, when you made your first foray towards Dark Cross and were unsuccessful, and at that point we had already known that the Pearl was there. So yeah, that was unfortunate early on, but again in co-op I wasn't too terribly worried about that because last locationing, which I'm pretty sure is what we wound up doing with that, last locationing an early item hurts you less in co-op, so...
Yeah,
that was check. Pretty early.
Yeah, with it being Moon Pearl too, it kind of alleviated a lot of options. But
especially since we found the hammer with my Super Bunny play, it was like, okay, well, if it's Moon Pearl, no big deal, we found the hammer, so...
Yeah, that... When you can go into Dark World already having both Titans and Hammer, it makes routing so much cleaner. So that was definitely a helpful thing.
So we are joined by both Monkey and SEJay. How you guys doing?
Yeah, that's all right.
Doing pretty good. GG's, guys.
GG's.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race. I know you guys probably talked a little bit. They found boots probably about half an hour before you guys did.
Surprised me. Also, us gambling on left side swamp, we had a lot of checks left to do, and it just, one thing in swamp just bit us this time. Like, most of the time that is going to pay off, but unfortunately with this seed, like, not having boots, I didn't want to go to the left side. It's so slow.
I think at the time when we did swamp, the only things we had yet to check were Turtle Rock and Desert Mire together. Actually, you know what? I might have done that first before I went to Skullwoods, because Ben was doing Swamp when I was doing Thieves Town Skullwoods. So, yeah, because Ben jumped early once he got the mirror and pod. He was like, I'll go check Mire and Desert area. I'm like, are you sure you don't want to do Swamp? Oh, yeah. And then he ended up doing Swamp first anyway, so...
Yeah, it was overall a very good race between you guys. It's just the unfortunate checks, right? Rando is rando sometimes, right?
Yep, like yesterday, all the checks were in front of Yorinashi, and I found absolutely nothing. Today was a little bit more even with distribution, so that allowed all of our plays to kind of work out in the end.
We focus very heavily on dungeons having the progression, and Swamp is one of those that we could take the gamble on. Shovel is just a tough spot because Shovel just seems so low on our radar for us, and for the boots to be there, like if you're getting the boots 30 minutes late, you're losing so much time in a seed. Like that's really hard to overcome if the other team isn't like falling 3 times to Ganon or something like that. That's a tough one.
Yeah, overall, I think you guys you were about a dungeon and a half behind.
Yeah, that's not bad for not having boots, like, for 30 minutes. I'll take that.
Yeah, you guys sort of played a little less thorough overall, and so that helped make up some of that time, which is sort of the advantage of playing that way in the first place, is, if you skip stuff, you don't end up wasting time doing it. But the risk is, the stuff you skip is the one thing you need to go back for later on.
We figured if it's not left hand side, that doesn't hurt us at all, because then it's just I just go to the back. So if Ben would have went to the back, I would have said, okay, I'll go get left side when I go into Swamp. It's one of those things where either you divide it or you do it the first time.
And that's what happened for them too. McMonkey checked it on the second on his walk-in.
Yeah, and honestly, Bombos, it being Turtle Rock Medallion isn't that big of a deal. I think our boots difference was it. Because Turtle Rock's going to be the last thing you do anyway before you hit GT, so...
Yeah, and I think Ben was saying about getting the hammer early. I think having the hammer in the midst, entering the Dark World, along with those early boots, I think really helps to make more efficient routing, for sure.
Yeah, with me having the Moon Pearl and not the mitts up the mountain and not being able to Super Bunny, like we were talking about a little bit, that's just a rough thing because I now have to make a whole nother mountain climb to go back up there and get those items. So, sometimes rando is going to be like that. It's just going to throw an item in a place where you don't look.
Well, yeah, and that was the thing, because as Ben was doing South Shore, I was doing Escape Sequence, and when he found the Flippers and Titans, I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go up the mountain when you do Eastern, and I'll just Super Bunny to see what it is real quick, and I'm like, oh, Hammer's there, and Blue Cane, perfect. So...
Yeah, and that might have been the difference because I did Eastern before the flipper checks, having found the bow and the flippers while SEJay went up the mountain. So, just that little bit of ordering in the beginning can make a huge difference.
That was it. Because as soon as Ben finished up Eastern and we were looking for Moon Pearl still, it was like, okay, go ahead and do Eastern. If Moon Pearl's not there, we're basically last locationing Dark Cross, because I had done Escape, and I'm like, there's an item in Dark Cross. So... that was super nice that we were able to kind of get that Moon Pearl last. We had the hammer, we had the Titan's mitts, and it was like, well, I need to go get boots from Shovel. While I was up there, I'm like, I'll just go do Hera. I'm right here for Hera. Let me go finish that out real quick and do all that fun stuff while up there.
So, while we're talking one more time, I do want to plug both the racers and the commentary tracking and restreaming crew. If you liked what happened tonight, make sure you give people a follow. We do have all their Twitches up.
Yeah, big thank you to the crew for putting on the restream.
And the most thankless job in rando, tracking.
The trackers do a lot of watching and a lot of clicking in the back that you guys don't get to see. But we also have the schedule up if you guys want to see the schedule, what's coming up on what channel that's been decided so far. So we do got some speed gaming going on for the Invitational. We got another race on this channel on Tuesday night. So it's been just a short while. That starts in just about 40 minutes. Also, be sure to follow Speed Gaming, all the channels, and ALTTPR League channels, if you want to see more good racing from Link to the Past.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, and we've got a whole bunch more to look forward to, so hope to see all of you back again.